The camera pans across the bustling diner as 6-year-old Ethan's innocent proposal echoes through the room. "Will you marry me?" The waitress, Sophia, laughs and playfully agrees, not knowing this chance encounter will change her life forever. If you've ever believed in fate or second chances, this story will touch your heart. Like and subscribe to see more incredible true stories that remind us how life's most precious moments often come when we least expect them. Sofia Martinez wiped down another table, her shoulders aching from the double shift. At 28, this wasn't where she had imagined herself, working at Mel's Diner in downtown Chicago, struggling to make rent while putting herself through nursing school. Her dark hair was pulled back in a practical ponytail, and though exhaustion lined her face, her smile remained genuine for every customer. "Table 7 needs attention," called her manager, pointing to where a man in a simple gray sweater sat with a small boy. The man was hunched over his phone, seemingly distracted by whatever important business occupied his screen. Sophia approached with her notepad. "Hi there. Welcome to Mel's. What can I get for you today?" The little boy, no more than 6 years old with unruly brown curls and bright blue eyes, looked up at her with wonder. While his father continued typing on his phone, the child beamed at Sophia. "You're pretty," he said matter-of-factly. "Will you marry me?" Sophia couldn't help but laugh, the innocent question brightening her otherwise draining day. "Well, that's the sweetest proposal I've had all week." "Sure, I'll marry you." The father finally looked up, slightly embarrassed. "Ethan, don't bother the nice lady." He offered Sophia an apologetic smile that crinkled the corners of his eyes. "I'm sorry. He proposes to everyone he likes these days." "It's no bother at all," Sophia replied, charmed by the boy's openness. "It's nice to meet a gentleman who knows what he wants." The man introduced himself as Jack, and they ordered chocolate chip pancakes for Ethan despite it being afternoon, and just coffee for Jack. As Sophia walked away, she felt Jack's eyes following her, but dismissed the thought. Men like him, even in casual clothes, there was something distinguished about him, didn't look twice at waitresses with perpetual coffee stains on their aprons. What Sophia didn't know was that Jack Wilson wasn't just any customer. The simple sweater and jeans concealed the identity of one of Chicago's most successful tech entrepreneurs, whose software company had recently been valued at over $3 billion. Jack had deliberately maintained a low profile, especially after his wife's death from cancer 2 years earlier had attracted unwanted media attention. Over the next few weeks, Jack and Ethan became regulars at the diner. Ethan would always ask for his fiancée to be their waitress, and Sophia would play along, saving special animal-shaped pancakes just for him. She learned that Ethan's mother had passed away, and her heart ached for the little boy who still sometimes fell silent, staring at his food. Jack, meanwhile, found himself looking forward to these diner visits more than board meetings. There was something refreshingly genuine about Sophia, the way she remembered Ethan's preferences, how she slipped him extra crayons, and the gentle way she listened when the boy rambled about dinosaurs or superheroes. One rainy Tuesday, Sophia wasn't at the diner. Jack felt an unexpected disappointment as another waitress served them. "Where's my Sophia?" Ethan asked, his lower lip trembling slightly. "I'm sorry, honey. Sophia called in sick today," the waitress explained. That evening, as Jack tucked Ethan into bed, his son looked up with serious eyes. "Dad, can we bring Sophia some soup? When I'm sick, you always bring me soup." Jack hesitated. He had Sophia's address from the one time he'd offered her a ride home during a thunderstorm, but showing up unannounced seemed intrusive. Still, Ethan's concern touched him. "We'll see, buddy. Maybe tomorrow." The next morning, Sophia opened her apartment door to find a delivery, gourmet chicken soup, a bouquet of daisies, and a handmade card from Ethan with stick figures of the three of them holding hands. The note simply read, "Get well soon. The diner isn't the same without you. Jack and Ethan." Sophia's tiny apartment told the story of her struggles, textbooks stacked on a second-hand table, nursing school schedules pinned to a corkboard, and bills carefully organized by due date. The soup was the most expensive food that had entered her home in months. When she returned to work, Sophia thanked Jack with genuine emotion in her eyes. "That was incredibly thoughtful. Ethan's card made my day." "It was his idea," Jack admitted. He was worried about his fiancée. Their friendship grew naturally after that. Jack learned about Sophia's dream of becoming a pediatric nurse, inspired by the care her younger brother had received during his battle with leukemia. Sophia discovered Jack's dry sense of humor and his dedication to being both mother and father to Ethan. What she didn't discover was his wealth. Jack had grown weary of people changing around him once they knew his net worth. With Sophia, he was just a single dad who worked in technology, and he cherished that normalcy. 3 months into their friendship, disaster struck. Sophia arrived at work in tears. Her landlord had sold her building to developers, and all tenants had 30 days to vacate. With Chicago's rental market and her limited budget, finding a new place seemed impossible. "I might have to drop out this semester," she confided to Jack during her break. "I can't afford to move and pay tuition." Jack wanted desperately to solve her problem with a single phone call or check, but he knew that would mean revealing his secret and potentially changing everything between them. Instead, he offered, "I have a friend who owns some properties. Let me ask if he has anything available." The friend, of course, was a company Jack owned through a holding corporation. 2 days later, Sophia was offered a rent-controlled apartment in a safe neighborhood close to both the diner and her school. The rent was suspiciously affordable, but the property manager explained it was part of a community support program. As winter turned to spring, Jack found himself inventing reasons to visit the diner. Ethan's engagement to Sophia had become a running joke, but Jack's feelings were becoming anything but humorous. He admired her resilience, her kindness, and the way she treated everyone, from the homeless man she saved breakfast for to the grumpy regulars, with equal dignity. One evening, Jack finally gathered his courage and asked Sophia to dinner, a real dinner, not at the diner. Her surprise was evident, but her smile was immediate. "I'd like that very much," she said. Their first date was at a modest Italian restaurant where Jack was careful not to reveal his financial status. He parked his everyday car, not the collection of luxury vehicles in his garage, and wore a simple button-down shirt. What mattered was the conversation that flowed effortlessly between them, the way Sophia's eyes lit up when she talked about her future plans, and how for the first time since losing his wife, Jack felt that particular warmth of possibility. As they walked along the lakefront after dinner, Sophia stopped suddenly. "Jack, can I ask you something?" "Why me?" "You could probably date anyone." Jack looked at her thoughtfully. "Because you see me, just me. Not what I have or what I do. And because my son adores you, which is the best character reference anyone could have." Their relationship deepened over the following months. Sophia became a regular presence at their home, a modest house Jack maintained separate from his actual mansion, helping Ethan with homework and bringing a feminine warmth the house had lacked. Jack struggled with his growing deception, but fear held him back. What if she thought he'd been manipulating her? What if she only saw his money once she knew? The truth emerged unexpectedly. Sophia was studying in the university library when she overheard 2 business students discussing a famous, reclusive tech billionaire named Jack Wilson. Curious at the name coincidence, she glanced at their laptop, and saw Jack's face on the cover of Business Week. The shock left her breathless. The article detailed his rise from coding prodigy to software mogul, his philanthropic foundation, and his estimated net worth of $3.2 billion. It mentioned his retreat from public life after his wife's death and his dedication to raising their son away from the spotlight. When Jack arrived to pick her up from the library later, Sophia was waiting with the magazine in her hands. The look on her face told him everything. "Were you ever going to tell me?" she asked quietly. The drive home was silent. At her apartment, they finally talked, really talked. Jack explained his reasons for hiding his wealth, his fear of being valued only for his money, and how refreshing it had been to be known for himself alone. "I never meant to deceive you," he said. But the longer it went on, the harder it became to find the right moment. Sophia's hurt was evident. "I understand why you did it, but relationships need trust. You didn't trust me enough to know I wouldn't change." "And have you?" Jack asked softly. "Changed how you see me?" Sophia looked at him for a long moment. "I'm trying not to. But I need time, Jack." For weeks, their relationship hung in limbo. Sophia still saw Ethan, unwilling to disappoint the boy, but maintained distance from Jack. She struggled to reconcile the man she'd fallen in love with and this new identity as a billionaire who could buy and sell the diner where she worked 1,000 times over. One afternoon, Ethan came to the diner with his nanny instead of Jack. As Sophia served his usual pancakes, he looked up with solemn eyes. "Dad is really sad," he said. "He misses you. Do you not want to marry me anymore?" Sophia's heart clenched. "Oh, Ethan. I'll always be your friend. Your dad and I just have some grown-up things to figure out." "Is it because he has lots of money?" Ethan asked innocently. "Because he told me that doesn't matter. He says what matters is if people are kind and brave and true. That's what Mom always said." From the mouths of babes, Sophia thought. That evening, she found herself driving to Jack's real home, an address she'd found online. The security guard recognized her name and waved her through, which was both surprising and telling. Jack was in the garden, sitting alone on a bench overlooking Lake Michigan. When he saw her, he stood, uncertainty written across his features. "Your son is quite the advocate," Sophia said by way of greeting. Jack smiled faintly. "He gets that from his mother." "Tell me about her," Sophia said, sitting beside him. For the next hour, Jack opened up about his late wife, her courage, her insistence on normalcy during her illness, and her final request that he not let wealth isolate their son from real connections. "She would have liked you," he concluded. "Very much. I've been thinking," Sophia said after a moment. "The problem wasn't your money. It was that you didn't trust me with the truth. I need to know that won't happen again." "It won't," Jack promised. "No more secrets." Their reconciliation wasn't immediate, but it was sincere. Sophia insisted on keeping her job at the diner and finishing nursing school on her own terms, though she accepted Jack's offer to establish a scholarship fund for nursing students with financial needs, not just for her, but for others like her. A year later, Jack proposed, for real this time, in the diner where they'd met, with Ethan as his enthusiastic wingman. Sophia said yes, to both father and son. At their wedding, Ethan stood proudly as best man. During the reception, he clinked his glass for attention and announced with perfect seriousness, "I asked her first, you know." The room erupted in laughter, but there were tears in Sophia's eyes as she hugged her stepson. "Yes, you did, buddy. And it was the best proposal ever." Their story wasn't about wealth or fairy tale endings. It was about seeing people for who they truly are, about second chances at love, and about a little boy's innocent question that changed 3 lives forever. As Sophia and Jack danced under the stars, surrounded by friends from both worlds, diner regulars alongside tech executives, they knew that the richest part of their lives had nothing to do with bank accounts. Sometimes, the most valuable things come disguised as everyday moments, like a child's proposal to a kind-hearted waitress who never imagined saying yes would lead her here.